like a chicken cherry cola. Wanna stand with you on a mountain.
I want some kiss away. Here we are, it's a team of the Southcast. Hang out with us.
Hello everyone, welcome to our 1990s episode of Southcast Radio.
Today we're going to be traveling back in time to the era of such things as Nickelodeon Slime, Jurassic Park, and Mario 64.
I grew up in the Philippines during the 90s, and I remember my favorite children's show. It was Bananas in Pajamas. My twin sister and I used to wear matching pajamas just like them, and we used to pretend to walk down the stairs just like them during a theme song. Bananas in pajamas are coming down the stairs. I also remember that we tried to think like them. We'd be like, "Are you thinking what I'm thinking, Rachel? I think I am, Trista. It's snack time."
That show originates from Australia. I had a favorite Australian show back in the 90s. It was called Ocean Girl. My dad showed it to me, and I loved it for all of its 3 seasons. I recently discovered you can watch the entire series on YouTube.
I grew up in San Francisco during the 90s, and I listened to Backstreet Boys and played Nintendo Game Boy.
I want to talk about the alternative hip-hop music album, Arrested Development, titled 3 Years, 5 Months, and 2 Days in the Life of. In 1992, the American rap group from Atlanta, Georgia, named Arrested Development, released their rap music album titled Arrested Development, 3 Years, 5 Months, and 2 Days in the Life of, with its popular song titled Mr. Wendell. The message of their song, Mr. Wendell, talks about what it is like to be a homeless person living on the streets, with no shelter or roof over their head. Mr. Wendell is African American, and his journey is talked about in a song about how he dealt with systemic racism, and how one day a person came along and bought him some shoes. When speech meets Mr. Wendell on the streets, he is living as a homeless man, and he had no money and not enough belongings to keep him safe. Some of the lyrics of Mr. Wendell by Arrested Development are, "I saw a man with no clothes, no money, no plate. Mr. Wendell. That's his name. No one ever knew his name, 'cause he's a known one. Never thought twice about spending on a old bum until I had the chance to really get to know one. Now that I know him, to give him some money isn't charity. He gives me some knowledge. I buy him some shoes. And to think blacks spend all that money on big colleges. Still, most of y'all come out confused." The message in the song also talks about how systemic racism happens against African Americans all across the United States. It explains how some black people in America are living on the streets as homeless people with no shelter or roof over their heads, no money or food, and no water. Some black people face discrimination in housing and employment. The message of this album, a southern hip-hop genre, focuses on community, sticking together during tough times, and helping one another within the black community of the United States. Black people are more likely to face discrimination in America and anywhere in the world, and face police violence, including ending up homeless. Hip-hop, rap music in the black community of the United States sends a message of sticking together and believing in community when the times get tough for black people all across America. In a scientific study done in 2015, research shows that unarmed black men are 4 times more likely to be shot by police than unarmed white men. It is like advocacy for black people in this album. Black people in America, Africa, or anywhere in the world can do anything and they can go anywhere. This music is a revolution in activism for black people anywhere in the world, to send a message to the world, to the people of the world, that we exist, we are human, we are people too. We want our rights and our freedom that we deserve. Other parts of the lyrics of Mr. Wendell are, Mr. Wendell has freedom, a free that you and I think is dumb. Free to be without the worries of a quick to this society, for Mr. Wendell's a bum. His only worries are sickness and an occasional harassment by the police and their chase. Uncivilized we call him, but I just saw him eat off the food we waste. Civilization. Are we really civilized? Yes or no? Who are we to judge, when thousands of innocent men could be brutally enslaved or killed over a racist grudge? Mr. Wendell has tried to warn us about our ways, but we don't hear him talk. Is it his fault when we've gone too far? And we got too far, because on him we walk. Mr. Wendell, a man, a human in flesh, but not by law. I feed you dignity to stand with pride. Realize that all in all, you stand tall. Black people in America and all around the world need to stand up with pride for their black community. I'm half black and half white myself. My mom was white and my dad was black. I take a great deal of pride in being a black woman. Black people are amazing entertainers and entrepreneurs. Black people have the power and the potential. I'm a self-advocate. There are some people of African descent in Europe. They are found in the United Kingdom, France, and other European countries. Some British people are black and some French people are black. The systemic race issues that affect black people in the United States are also present in other countries. People all over the world should treat each other like neighbors. When speech met Mr. Wendell, he thought he wasn't a nobody until he saw in Mr. Wendell that he had knowledge and experience. And above all, he is a human and a neighbor. My dad was a civil rights attorney before I was born, and then later on, he was a chief judge at a Social Security office until he died in 2004, caused by a heart attack. Research shows that black people are more likely to have heart health issues due to stress from systemic issues like discrimination. Back in the 20th century, the law community did not take my dad seriously because he was black, and he had to work twice as hard to become a lawyer and a judge. I miss my mom and dad a lot, and I hope they are happy together in heaven. The message of Mr. Wendell by Arrested Development to me is to stick with my family members and friends, as they are my community. It's important to be by each other's side during the chaos of wars, pandemics, and discrimination. And the song Mr. Wendell, it shares the perspective of caring for someone who has less than you and treating everyone like a human being.
Rap sounds more upbeat than the 90s.
Wow, Christina, you did a very good job.
Thank you, Christina. That was really enlightening.
Hello, Southcast Radio, your best buddy Eva doing here. I have something to share with you. I like to 90s music as it smells like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls by TLC by Backstreet Boys, Rocky and NSYNC. Britney Spears, Baby One More Time. Nintendo gaming was popular in the late 90s. I like to play Mario on the Game Boy. I like the music. It made me laugh with funny sound like "Here we go." When I was a little kid in the 90s, I used to eat at McDonald's and go to slide. Thank you, everyone.
Wow, Eva, that's a lot of interesting 90s products and music.
When I was younger, you were either an NSYNC fan or a Backstreet Boys fan. I liked NSYNC. My mom liked the Backstreet Boys. When my favorite songs would come on the radio, she was like, blah. And I felt the same way when her favorite songs would come on.
I was a huge Britney Spears fan as a kid, and I love the song, Oops, I Did It Again. And now I'd like to share with you all a 90s video game trivia. First off, I'm going to share with you about Mario. Originally in Super Mario World, Shigefumi Hino, the character designer, Mario was going to bonk Yoshi on the head in order to use his tongue. They had the animation and even the bonk sound effect. But they scrapped the idea and worried people would feel sorry for Yoshi. So they decided to pass it off as Mario saying, "Go!" Mario was originally gonna have a weapon like a gun in his first game, but Shigeru Miyamoto thought it's too violent and make it more kid-friendly. The substitute for Mario attacking enemies is jumping on their heads, since Miyamoto figures a jumping character would need a jumping attack. And lastly, Miyamoto was an architect, which contributes to Mario's level design. And now next we're going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic's original game name was Project Needle Mouse. And the second trivia fact is that Sonic sparks the wave of animal mascot games, and that he's the one of the first video game characters to have a float in the Thanksgiving parade. And lastly, I'm going to share with you Link from Legend of Zelda. Girls are nuts on how handsome Link is, me included. They made Link handsome as a way to appeal to gamers in the West. According to Link's designer, Yusuke Nakano, drew inspiration from a rather world-famous Hollywood actor. At that time, if you were to talk about a really good-looking actor, people immediately thought of this guy. As he drew Link, he drew him with strong-willed eyes. During production, Link's look is inspired from Leonardo DiCaprio. And that's it for this 90s video game trivia. I'll see you then in the next trivia.
I used to play a game called Turok with my dad, which was a first-person shooter. The main character was a Native American and he would use a knife or a bow. There were velociraptors and human bad guys, and portals you would use to get to different places.
I remember that game. Say, Mary, what games did you not like from the 90s?
I didn't care much for Super Mario Bros. 3. I felt like the timing was off and I didn't like the way it was animated. However, the first Super Mario Bros. Holds a special place in my heart because it was the first video game I ever played.
I played Mario and I like the sound effects like ha ha hee hee.
So, anyone who was a kid in the 90s will remember shows like DuckTales, Gummy Bears, Tailspin, and Darkwing Duck. All of these shows were signature titles in the Disney Channel afternoon and were beloved by its child audience. However, in the mid-90s, the Disney Channel executives began to notice that many of their audience members were outgrowing the colorful, upbeat cartoons they used to watch. So Disney decided they were going to add a new cartoon to the Disney afternoon lineup, one the older kids could enjoy. This show would have the dark edginess of Batman the Animated Series with the action-packed family dynamic of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. This show would be called Gargoyles. Developed by Greg Weisman, The animated series Gargoyles tells the story of a group of nocturnal creatures called gargoyles that are flesh and blood during the night, but turn to stone during the day. After being turned to stone for 1,000 years by a magic spell, the gargoyles awaken to find themselves in present-day New York. When I say present day, I mean 1994. As with most Disney shows of that era, Gargoyles debuted with a 5-episode premiere that could double as a feature film. The show begins in medieval Scotland and later moves on to New York, where the remainder of the series takes place. The Gargoyles meet 2 humans after they awaken, the first being David Xanatos, the billionaire who is the one who awakens the Gargoyles, and Elisa Mazza, a New York City police detective. Elisa remains to this day one of my favorite animated female characters ever. Before the character of Elisa was created, female cartoon characters were often depicted as either children or older women, rather than an equal to the male characters. Elisa becomes a guardian of sorts to the Gargoyles during the day after they take up residence in the clock tower above the police station. She also becomes their eyes and ears during the day. Gargoyles ran from 1994 to 1997, lasting 3 seasons. However, according to Greg Weisman, Season 3 is not considered canon, which basically means not considered an official part of a fictional narrative with the rest of the series. I love this show. I love the dark, gritty, action-packed world, the colorful collection of characters, and the amazing writing throughout the entire series. Gargoyles remains, to this day, one of my favorite cartoons. The entire series can currently be streamed on Disney Plus, and I can't recommend it enough. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy this look back into the cartoon Gargoyles.
I love when the gargoyles climb up the wall. The sound was very crunchy and satisfying. I remember the gargoyle dog, Bronx. He's one of my favorite characters.
I loved Keenan and Kel. And Keenan always had a mysterious plan, and they would always get in trouble from their parents.
I remember Kel. He's that lovable idiot. And I loved orange soda because of that show.
Who loves orange soda? Kel loves orange soda. Is it true? Mm-hmm. Oh, I do. Ooh.
I like orange soda. I used to drink it at my birthday party. I went to Oliver Garden for my birthday. I used to get Legos and stuffed animals.
We had simple games, like when people put rubber bands around their ankles, and 2 people would stand apart and someone in the middle would jump between the bands. The difficulty gets higher when they lifted the bands up higher on their legs.
I never really liked the whole group jump rope thing, although I never really liked being around a group of kids either, so that might have had something to do with it.
We would play a game called catch-up, where you slap each other's arms and the person with the reddest arm would win.
People would play patty cake games with required 2 people.
Do you remember those 90s horror kid shows like Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark? My twin sister was terrified of the books of Goosebumps. She never read them, but the covers really frightened her.
I always liked the cover of Say Cheese and Die, where it was a family photo but they were all skeletons. I used to really like movie soundtracks in the 90s, like the soundtrack to Anastasia.
They used to have TV shows based from Disney movies, like Aladdin, The Little Mermaid, or Hercules.
I love the Disney show. They made me happy and laugh. I like Ariel, and I even make up my own mermaid regional character.
I created my own Sailor Moon original character. At least I thought it was original. I made up a version of Sailor Saturn, but right after I created it, they introduced Sailor Saturn into the show.
I remember Cha-Cha the Little Witch. Her magic was a hit and miss. When she tried to unlock a door once, instead the door became alive with hair and was doing a wave. She also has two friends, Sheena and Leah. One's a warlock and one's a wolf.
Oh, I watched that. The character is cute. She reminds me of Little Red Riding Hood.
I remember when Pokemon was coming out, and the first Pokemon movie came out.
I love Pokemon! My favorite is Pikachu!
I love Digimon. Digimon is more dramatic and has a singular story, more about character and some dark moments. Made me more emotional.
I love Digimon too. Digimon was the inspiration for my first book called Fantasy Planet. The story of kids going to another world to save it is what led to the idea.
We are really being so nostalgic going down memory lane.
If I had a time machine, I'd go back in time and watch Jurassic Park in theaters again.
I would watch the classic shows.
If I could go back to the 90s, I would go back and start earlier on being a musician and ballet dancer so my dad could see before he died.
I would go back in time and play hide and seek with my childhood friends.
Thank you for listening to our 1990s themed podcast. We will be back with our next exciting episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast.
It was fun taking this walk down memory lane with you. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Thank you for joining Southcast Radio. This has been your best buddy, Evil June. Keep up on the action on Spotify, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. See you next time.
Southcast Radio. Southcast Radio. Shake it to the left, shake it to the right. Southcast Alive, Southcast Alive. Hit me Southcast one more time.
Soundcast right now, thank you very much. Not just a cast, we're Southcast.
Like a chicken cherry cola. I wanna stand with you on a